Welcome to Front Office Pros. Today we're going to be talking about starts and sits for Week 11.
Hike!
Joe, start us off. Who is your smash play at quarterback?
Yeah, I'm smashing Sam Howell this week. The Giants were able to hold that Commanders offense in check in Week 7, held them to 7 points. But I think this is a whole different scenario. Giants team is broken with DeVito at quarterback. That matchup was back when they had Tyrod and they could actually move the ball in offense. And the defense just seems defeated, just knowing that DeVito's on the other side of the ball and their offense can't do anything with it. And if you saw that Cowboys game last week, I mean, the Cowboys and Prescott did whatever they wanted against the Giants last week, and Howell's gotten hot here. He's got 3 straight games with 300 plus passing yards. Also has 141 passing attempts in his last 3 games as well. So I like for him to stay hot this week against the Giants. And I'd be willing to start Sam Howell over Herbert, Josh Allen, but I draw the line at Tua.
So going over to the sleeper at quarterback, my sleeper this week is quarterback Joshua Dobbs. Dobbs continues to be slept on, in my opinion. And although he goes against the Broncos, who has been better of late, I think Dobbs continues to have an unprecedented season as he currently sits as the QB 10 on the year. Last week, Josh Dobbs threw 268 passing yards, 1 pass touchdown, 44 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. I would play him instead of Justin Fields at Detroit, Kyler Murray at Houston, but where I draw the line, I'd rather play Brock Purdy versus the Bucs. So, Joe, who do you have as your stinker at quarterback?
Yeah, I'm going with Josh Allen. I kicked him off as a stinker in Week 1. He ended up going as a quarterback 20, and I just don't see him having that great of a game against this Jets defense again, even though it is at home. Jets defense has just been really good against quarterbacks and wide receivers. And I think, the Bills may have found something last week against the Broncos. The one positive, which is kind of surprising for me, but the one positive was their ability to run. And I think that they should be able to run again against the Jets. That's one area they have been susceptible this year. So I think with the combination of the bad matchup for Josh Allen, but then the Bills also being able to run, I think that caps his ceiling for this week. And honestly, Zach Wilson's not doing that great. Jets aren't really scoring that many points. I don't know how much the Josh Allen and this Bills offense will really have to score in order to beat the Jets this week. And I'd rather play guys like C.J. Stroud against Arizona, Jared Goff at home against the Bears, Kyler Murray at Houston, Sam Howell, as I mentioned, as my smash, and Brock Purdy over guys like Josh Allen.
Wow, you gave an array of guys who you'd start over Josh Allen there. But transitioning over to the running backs, my smash play of the week is David Montgomery. I'm a believer in the revenge game. I don't think it's his birthday, so I can't say that for Dustin Ludgate. But I think it's Montgomery's turn when it comes to playing his previous team. I think he's going to do really well. In his first game back from injury, he had 12 carries for 116 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. He had no targets on the day. I think Montgomery could have had another touchdown. We've heard recently that, he was supposed to come in the goal line and he let Gibbs, go back out there and get the touchdown. I don't think that's going to happen when he plays his former team. So I would rather start Montgomery over the likes of Aaron Jones versus the Chargers, DeAndre Swift at KC, and Barkley at Washington. So Joe, who do you have as your sleeper for running back this week?
Yeah, I like that. Your smash is interesting with Montgomery. The Bears have been better of late against the run. We'll see. I think this could be more of a Jahmyr Gibbs game than Montgomery, but we'll see, Steve. But my sleeper this week, I'm going with Ty Chandler. This guy was getting snaps even before Madison went out with a concussion. He actually was getting a decent amount of workload. Then, Madison goes out with a concussion, and Chandler got a chance. And he looked really good. He's far more explosive player than Madison is, and he just pops when you actually watch him during the game. He's got a lot of speed. You saw that when he took that wildcat snap around the goal line as well. So, he can be utilized even in that facet. And then, this is one area I'm a little concerned as a Broncos fan, just watching that, and the Bills were able to run the ball. So I think if the Broncos continue to struggle, Ty Chandler could be an interesting play this week. And, you saw James Cook who has the speed. He's the speed guy out of the backfield, with the Bills, and that's exactly what Ty Chandler is able to bring to the table. So I like him this week, and I play Ty Chandler over both Pittsburgh Steelers running backs Najee and Warren, and I'd even play him over Pacheco.
Yeah, to give you credit here, you've been a Chandler supporter for a long time, saying he was the best guy in that backfield. So you're not just riding on the bandwagon now.
Nope. He's finally looks like he's probably getting his chance because I don't expect Madison to play with that concussion.
So this is going to be a surpriser for the stinker at running back, but I'm going with Tony Pollard. Although it seems like a good matchup on paper, I did not like it for him. Now, within the past 3 weeks, I feel the Panthers have done a decent job against the run. Although Foreman had 81 yards and with 1 touchdown, that was with a total of 21 carries. In the previous 2 weeks, Jonathan Taylor was held to 47 rushing yards. I know he did have a receiving touchdown. And then Dameon Pierce only had 46 rushing yards. So to me, Pollard hasn't had more than 15 carries since week 3. We're on week 11 now. So I'm expecting him to be a stinker. I thought he'd be a stinker all year. I think people are going to be baited into wanting to play him. Just don't see it. I'd rather play the likes of Javonte Williams versus the Vikings, Brian Robinson versus the Giants, and Montgomery, my smash play, versus Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with your stinker call out, Steve. I mean, you've been calling for this. You said he was going to be disappointing this year, and he certainly has. So give you credit on that. It is interesting, though. I mean, teams of late, I feel like, have been able to run against the Panthers, but I still don't know if he'll be able to take advantage of it.
I think it'll be a disappointment, if nothing else. May not be a guy you completely bench, but that's why we say he's a stinker, right? Because he's going to disappoint.
Yeah, I do agree. He's probably in. I mean, if you're a Pollard owner and he can't get it done here, it's not looking good for the rest of the year for him.
So are you enjoying this video so far? Well, if you are, show your support to our new channel by hitting the subscribe button and liking this video. We'll be creating videos all NFL season long, so you're not going to want to miss what we have in store. So transitioning over to the wide receivers, who is your smash play, Joe, for week 11?
Yeah, I'm going with Davante Adams, guy that's been pretty disappointing this year, had its ebbs and flows with the different quarterbacks coming in and out, but it seems like without Josh McDaniels now, they've got a clear-cut plan, and that is for Aiden O'Connell to get the ball to Davante Adams. I mean, just last week he had 13 targets, which was basically 50% of the target share on that offense. Now, you can't bank on 50% target share going forward here, but we've seen Aiden O'Connell just like to hyper-target Davante Adams, and he's got a good matchup against this Dolphins defense this week. And, the Raiders most likely are going to be down in this game. Expect them to have to pass the ball a lot and try to keep up with this high-scoring Dolphins offense. So I like Adams this week, and I'm willing to start him over guys like Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and even Chase in tonight's game.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a bold move on your part, Joe. But I have a bold move as well as my sleeper play, and that's Calvin Ridley. I know Ridley's been really bad this season. He currently sits at the wide receiver 43 on the season. But this matchup against Tennessee is just too enticing for me. The Titans have allowed the 26th most amount of points to opposing wide receivers, and I think this could be a get-right week for Ridley. I know he only had 3 targets and 2 receptions for 20 yards against the 49ers, but that pass rush caused havoc all game long. Jaguars are not going to have a deal with that against the Titans. I would rather play Ridley over the likes of Jordan Addison at Denver, DeAndre Hopkins at Jacksonville, and Rashee Rice versus Philly.
Yeah, definitely an interesting call out by you, Steve. I mean, this guy, like you said, he's been really bad, but I do agree with you. I like the matchup, and we'll see if he can't turn it around this week.
And who do you have as your stinker, Joe, for week 11?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Stephon Diggs is in for another stinker this week. As I mentioned before, Jets are the best defense against opposing receivers. We saw Surtain on Monday night being able to keep Diggs in check and lock him down. I think Sauce could easily do the same thing and force Allen to just look at other pieces in this offense, whether it's Kincaid, Gabe Davis, or Shakir. And then also just with that factor, I think the Bills could run the ball more, and I think that could be a new game plan that they have with Joe Brady taking over as offensive coordinator. Try to take some pressure off of Josh Allen and kind of right the ship and try to get this offense playing with her. But as I mentioned, I'd rather play Devontae, guys like Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, and even Garrett Wilson on the other side of the ball than Diggs.
So transitioning over the tight end, my smash play of the week is tight end Trey McBride. He had a great game in Kyler Murray's first appearance as a starting quarterback. He racked up 9 targets, 8 receptions, and 131 receiving yards. Now he goes up against the Houston Texans, which is 25th against the tight end. I think he capitalizes on this matchup and has another smash week after he was the tight end 2 in week 10. I would play him over the likes of Evan Ingram versus Tennessee, George Kittle versus Tampa Bay, and Sam Laporta versus Chicago. Going over to sleepers, Joe. Who do you got for sleeper tight end?
Yeah, I'm going back to Tyler Conklin. I know you laugh when Yeah, I know you usually laugh when I pick Conk here, but he's been pretty involved for this Jets offense last couple of weeks, and he's actually had a 100% catch rate. He was targeted 6 times, caught 6 for 66 against the Chargers, and then against the Raiders, he was targeted 7 times and caught 7 for 70 yards. And I think, one of the areas that you can beat the Bills defense is over the middle of the field, just kind of Conklin settling in and finding a soft spot in that zone. I know they kind of try to cover tightly to the outside, so I think he could find a nice area of the field in the middle, and I think it'd be that kind of security blanket for Zach Wilson in this matchup. And I'd be willing to, roll the dice on Conklin versus certain guys like Njoku, with the rookie quarterback. Not sure what we can expect there. I'd start him over Cole Kmet, kind of for the same thing. You saw Tyson Bagent target him a lot. I don't know with Justin Fields back if he's going to, stay in the flames like he's been doing, or does he kind of go back to what he was when Justin Fields was the quarterback? And then I'd also be willing to start Conklin over Logan Thomas as well.
Yeah, Joe, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. My stinker for tight end this week is Cole Kmet. Now that Justin Fields is coming off of IR, Fields has not targeted Kmet as Bagent was. So as a result, I expect the gravy train to stop for Kmet, and I think his time is to go back to the bench. The Detroit Lions have allowed the 22nd most amount of points for tight ends, so it's not a horrible matchup. But I would rather play the likes of Jake Ferguson at Carolina, David Njoku versus Pittsburgh, and Luke Musgrave versus the Chargers.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't even realize you were going to be talking about Cole Kmet, but I set you up pretty nice there.
Yeah, he did. He did very much so. So we always end on a stack, Joe. What's your stack for Week 11?
Yeah, I'm going with C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell, facing the Arizona Cardinals, and I think it's going to help that Kyler Murray's back, and Arizona should be able to score a little bit, so that game could be a little bit of a shootout.
Yeah, so my stack of the week is going to be music to your ears, Joe. It's going to be Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk. That Tampa Bay defense, although they did a great job against Will Levis, I don't think that this is going to happen for San Francisco. I could see Purdy having a multiple touchdown game. He has been prone to do that. I see him getting 3+ touchdowns. I think Ayuk will be the main beneficiary. I like those two this week.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it definitely should be a smash, like you said. Will Levis, the rookie, just couldn't take advantage, but I expect the 49ers offense to definitely be able to.
So that's our starts and sits for Week 11. If you're interested for some more questions or advice that you may have for who you should start and sit, we're going to be back on Sunday. So make sure you check it out before game time. We'll be live. So if you have questions, come on down and join us. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.